the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Daula Islamiyah Hassan Group sub-leader slain in Cotabato encounter. Philippine Army conducts army-wide simultaneous blood donation drive. Alas assured gas stations being monitored to prevent hoarding and profiteering. Dole and ECOP says private sector may adopt flexible work arrangements. Good day everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo in Quezon City. Today is Monday, March 9, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Jhai, Simbajon, here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
A second highest leader of the local terrorist group was killed following a decisive military operation conducted by the soldiers in Barangay Tinimbakan, Banisilan, Cotabato City, Cotabato yesterday, March 8. The deceased was identified as Imarodin Kulao, also known as Alpha King, who was formerly an emir and later served as a sub-leader of the Daula Islamiyah Hassan group. During the clearing operation, an M653 rifle was recovered from the suspect. Meanwhile, Kulao is considered a high-value individual by the authorities due to his involvement in several violent activities in the region and is facing various criminal charges, including multiple attempted murder, destructive arson, violation of the Anti-Terrorism Act, and double murder, among other related crimes.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Philippine Army conducted an army-wide simultaneous blood donation in Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City, and various camps across the country. The said activity, which is part of the Philippine Army's 129th founding anniversary celebration, collected a total of 4,312 blood bags from 6,754 soldiers, reservists, and other donors. The initiative supports the advocacy of the Department of Health and the Dugong Alay Dugtong Buhay Incorporated. Meanwhile, Philippine Army Commanding General Lieutenant General Antonio G. Navarrete commended the donors for donating the life-saving fluid, since one blood bag has a potential to save lives of as many as 3 patients facing different medical issues.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear some information from Joanne about Northern Luzon Command. AFP holds Ligang Bayanihan in Cabangan, Zambales. Joanne?
Members of the Philippine Uniformed Services and the United States Armed Forces joined Sambaleños for a friendly basketball tournament called Ligang Bayanihan on March 8 at the sports complex of Barangay Dolores, Cabangan, Zambales. The Ligang Bayanihan, organized by the 1st Civil Relations Group, Civil Military Operations Command, is a security engagement paired with sports aimed at building awareness of the ongoing Philippine-U.S. partnership in ensuring security and development. It also highlighted the ironclad alliance between the Philippines and the United States, stronger together on and off the court. The game consisted of 4 teams named after Philippine-U.S. military exercises: Balikatan Braves, Sama-Sama Sharks, Salaknib Strikers, and Kamandag Cobras, with members from the Uniformed Services, U.S. Forces, and Sambaleños promoting camaraderie and teamwork. Cabangan Zambales Mayor Ronaldo F. Apostol, who led the event, expressed his support, stating that Ligang Bayanihan is not just a game but something bigger, a celebration of the true spirit of Bayanihan between the Philippines and the United States. Information education campaign on the West Philippine Sea was also incorporated during the event to promote awareness of maritime rights and sovereignty. Also, the 69th Infantry Battalion, Philippine Army, presented the objectives of the annual bilateral exercise, Balikatan. The game concluded with the awarding of the trophy, with the Kamandag Cobras as the winner. The Ligang Bayanihan is on its 2nd series after being successfully piloted in Santa Ana, Cagayan, and will move next to Pampanga. This is John Sagaok reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And government forces seized several weapons after combined force of the military and police intervened to quell the clash between two armed groups in Barangay Sapacan, Mamasapano, Maguindanao del Sur. The 34th Infantry Battalion, along with the Mamasapano Police Force, conducted a joint law enforcement support operation in Mamasapano, Rahabuayan, and Sharif Aguac following the community-based conflict, while the Coordinating Committee on the Cessation of Hostilities also conducted monitoring. During the clearing operations, after the tension subsided, the troops recovered 4 M16 rifles, magazine, bandoliers, and ammunition that were believed to have been left after the armed clash between two groups affiliated with the Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. 601st Infantry Brigade Commander Brigadier General Edgar El Cato commended the swift and immediate military, police, and stakeholder coordination to prevent the situation from worsening.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And a joint operation by the Philippine Army and the Philippine National Police resulted in the capture of a shooting suspect during a law enforcement support operation carried out in Barangay Poblacion, Siasi, Sulu. Troops of the 104th Infantry Para sa Bayan Battalion immediately responded with personnel of the Siasi Municipal Police Station after receiving reports of a shooting incident involving a .45 caliber pistol. The suspect was promptly located and apprehended, while the victim was later declared dead on arrival by the attending physician. 104th IB Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Roy R. Dalumpines emphasized that the swift action helped in preventing further escalation and secured the safety of residents. The individual is currently in police custody for appropriate legal action.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now we have more updates from Meljoy about Abra achieves peace milestone with SIPS declaration. Meljoy?
Yes, good afternoon. The province of Abra formally declared a state of stable internal peace and security during the celebration of its 109th founding anniversary and Abrenian Kawayan Festival 2026 held at the Bangged Sports Complex, Bangged, Abra. The ceremonial signing and declaration were led by Honorable Eustaquio Bersamin, Provincial Governor of Abra, together with Lieutenant General Aristotle D. Gonzalez, Philippine Air Force, Commander of Northern Luzon Command, and Major General Gulliver L. Zanieres, Commander of the 5th Infantry Division, Philippine Army. The declaration of state and stable internal peace and security signified a successful collaboration and sustained efforts of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, local government units, and partner stakeholders in ensuring a secure and stable environment conducive to development and progress in Abra. The Northern Luzon Command emphasized that it will continue working closely with stakeholders to maintain a secure environment that enables communities in Abra to thrive. This is Meljoy Nesho Arroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Finance Center Philippine Army celebrated the unit's 52nd founding anniversary ceremony at the Philippine Army Officers Clubhouse, Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City. During the said activity, Army Commanding General Lieutenant General Antonio G. Navarrete lauded FCPA for its 52-year legacy of service, integrity, and financial stewardship. The Army Chief also commended FCPA's commitment to excellence, transparency, and accountability. The anniversary celebration also served as an occasion to honor outstanding personnel and civilian human resources of the unit.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And for our national news,
DWDD National News.
the government has started monitoring gas stations as part of its intensified efforts to address the possible impact of rising oil prices amid tensions in the Middle East. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. directed concerned agencies to prepare for the potential effects of the ongoing conflict on global oil prices. She added that the president wants the country to be ready for any situation, especially since the current conditions in the Middle East have yet to end. Citing Department of Energy Secretary Sharon Garin's statement, Castro said the government is adopting a whole-of-government approach, including closer monitoring and enforcement measures on fuel retailers.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Leonor about AETC Commander leads blessing of newly installed PAFOX tent and launch of military science training. Leonor?
The Philippine Air Force Officer Candidate School held the blessing of its newly installed PAFOX tent led by Jesus Nelson B. Morales, Commander of the Air Education Training and Doctrine Command. The facility was donated by 300th Air Intelligence and Security Wings, which will serve as the venue of the lectures, assemblies, and training activities. Meanwhile, Major General Morales also served as guest of honor and speaker during the kick-off ceremony for the military science training of the Philippine Air Force Officer Candidate Course Class of 2026. The training program includes a partnership with the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment to strengthen the officer candidates' tactical skills and combat leadership. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for FB Community News, 1FP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Leonor.
DWDD. National News.
Majority Leader Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos Bard that the House of Representatives will carry out a briefing with local authorities on the escalating conflict in the Middle East. The briefing is scheduled on Wednesday, March 11. Marcos said the House leadership under Speaker Faustino Boje III has asked the House Committees on Foreign Affairs and on Overseas Workers Affairs to conduct the joint briefing. Through these proceedings, the House will obtain an updated assessment of the situation and the government's preparedness to assist Filipinos working in affected countries.
DWDD. National News.
And the Department of Labor and Employment and the Employers Confederation of the Philippines said private sector companies may adopt flexible work arrangements. DOLE noted that the law allows any work rotation provided it is mutually agreed upon. The agency also highlighted several ways to implement a 4-day work week without affecting work output, salary, or benefits. Meanwhile, ECOP emphasized that any work arrangement should consider employees' safety and productivity.
DWDD. National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now we have some information from Jimboy about 84th Infantry Battalion and 48th Infantry Battalion conducts information drive in Nueva Ecija. Jimboy?
The 84th Infantry Battalion and the 48th Infantry Battalion jointly conducted the Bayani Wave Youth Power for Nation and Sea Information and Communication Outreach. The activities supported the communication plan Tatag Kapuluan of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and was attended by a board member and the SK Federation President of Nueva Ecija, along with 32 SK Federation President and youth leaders from across the province. Participants were oriented on the current situation in the West Philippine Sea and the important role of youth in raising awareness and supporting national effort to uphold the country maritime right. The activity also aimed to participants with accurate and evidence-based information on the West Philippine Sea to strengthen their understanding of maritime right, sovereignty, and the protection of national territory. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD. National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. urged local government units to study digital payment systems for the distribution of government assistance while reiterating that politicians should not turn aid programs into platforms for self-promotion. Marcos responded to public feedback calling for faster and more convenient distribution of assistance, particularly for senior citizens and other beneficiaries. He said that as long as these are national government programs, speeches and other publicity before distribution is not allowed. PBBM added that government services cannot be used for politicking or self-promotion.
DWDD. National News.
And President Marcos has appealed for understanding over the need to physically appear in correcting clerical errors on birth certificates. He stressed that the government is only avoiding fraudulent birth registration. Marcos explained that there are processes in government, such as birth registration and clerical errors correction, that must be attended to physically in order to prevent fraudulent birth registration schemes, citing the case of former Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Go. The chief executive said everyone saw what happened with Alice Go, and they certainly do not want to be involved in something like that.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more updates from Beth about Air Logistics Command successfully holds ALC Bike Challenge 2026. Beth?
The Air Logistics Command conducted the ALC Bike Challenge led by its commander, Major General Dennis G. Estrella, Philippine Air Force. The activity was held in line with the command's 28th founding anniversary and the observance of National Women's Month 2026 with the participation of officers, enlisted personnel, civilian, human resources, and subordinate unit. One of the highlights of the activity was the wreath-laying ceremony at Capas Ranch, New Clark City, Capas, Tarlac, to honor the sacrifice of war veterans. This was followed by a tree planting activity conducted at the Mahogany area to promote environmental awareness. The activity concluded with a bottle fight symbolizing equality, camaraderie, and unity among the men and women of one ALC. This is Beth Taneta reporting for the AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Beth Taniete.
DWDD National News.
And a measure institutionalizing the trabajo centers or facilities that aim to strengthen employment facilitation services across the country has hurdled the House Committee on Labor and Employment. The unanimous adoption of the draft committee report took place during a recent hearing. The proposed statute seeks to create accessible and integrated employment service centers at local level to help job seekers connect more efficiently with available employment opportunities. It also aimed to establish job placement offices in educational institutions to assist graduating students and young workers in transitioning from school to the workforce.
DWDD National News.
And Senate President Tito Soto has filed a bill that seeks to institutionalize a 20% discount on all medical services, medicines, and supplements relating to pregnancy. This aims to provide equal protection of the rights of mothers and their unborn children from conception up to birth. According to Soto, the Senate Bill number 1443 covers all pregnant women during the period of pregnancy, during delivery, and within 60 days from delivery. The Senate leader believes that the proposed measure will alleviate the financial burdens of pregnancy.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more from Shaina about the 32nd Infantry Battalion facilitates turnover of sewing machine to KPMFI beneficiary in Sumisip, Basilan. Sha?
Yes, good afternoon. The 32nd Infantry Battalion facilitated the turnover of sewing machine to a beneficiary of the Katiling Banong, pamahid sa Mindanao Foundation Incorporation at the 32nd IB headquarters in Barangay Tamuhubong, Sumisip, Basilan. The turnover was led by Civil Military Operations Officers and Acting Operations Officer, Captain Jose Miguel Abellanosa, who handed the sewing machine to Mr. Atong M. Sangkalahan. The sewing machine will support the beneficiary's small-scale livelihood, particularly tailoring and repair service to help augment his family income. Through partnerships with the organizations like KPMFI, the 32nd IV continues to promote community empowerment and strengthen cooperation between the military and local residents. This is Shaina Raneta reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Sha.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. vowed to create more opportunities for women to lead and recognize their potential. His statement came as the country marked International Women's Day yesterday. Of course, Marcos said that this administration remains steadfast in its commitment to ensure that every woman is heard, respected, and empowered in the society. The president further described women as the heartbeat of every nation and honored their courage, wisdom, and vital role in nation building.
DWDD. National News.
And the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development and the University of the Philippines broke ground on a rental housing project aimed at low-income housing for the university community. The HSUD Secretary Jose Ramon Aliling said the move is in line with President Marcos Jr.'s directive to continue the expanded 4PH. Marcos aims to help more Filipinos with their need for decent, safe, and affordable housing. The project is expected to benefit around 1,000 low-income employees, students, and nearby informal settlers' families.
DWDD. National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now we have more updates from Mike about FAGPT Class 01-2026 achieves regiment certification. Mike?
Students of the Field Artillery Gunnery Proficiency Training Class 01-2006 successfully earned the regiment certification during practical exercises conducted by the Regiment Certification Committee at the ETS Ground of the Artillery Regiment, Philippine Army. During the culminating exercise, students demonstrated proficiency in various artillery operations. Students executed complex fire mission based on the given tactical scenarios. They operated howitzers in the coordinated battery and accurately engaged target with the support of the forward observers and radio telephone operators. The training program is designed to strengthen the technical skills and operational readiness of the artillery personnel, ensuring they are fully prepared to execute missions with precision and efficiency. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD. National
And
News.
for our final news, authorities have seized 2 billion pesos worth of smuggled cigarettes in 317 operations. Bureau of Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno said that the operations were conducted in areas including Mindanao and Central Luzon. He said illegal cigarettes in the country can enter the country via international ports, shores without customs coverage, or via local manufacturing. Nepomuceno emphasized that aside from being dangerous to health, the estimated loss to the country exceeds 30 billion pesos because of this.
DWDD. National News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our DWDD AFP Radio Facebook page. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.